kind of keeping with Berkeley Global Campus, but transitioning just a little bit to the undergraduate initiative, because you mentioned that part of Berkeley Global Campus, one of the benefits is that examine global governance, examine global health, examine some of these issues, and so previously 5 years ago, when faculty got together to consider curricular changes here at Berkeley, one of the proposals that they made was the global studies requirement, and so I wanted to know, is there any way that a Berkeley Global Campus could find its way into the curriculum here?
Yeah, that's a great question. As we've been thinking through with the faculty and staff committees that have been working with student representation on what the kind of contours of an undergraduate initiative across the campus would consist of, we've been trying to identify a set of things that we've been calling, for want of better terms, competencies and dispositions. And in the context of doing that, we have all agreed, and of course in the abstract it's easy to have agreement. Working out the details, of course, is where all the devils will emerge. We've agreed that literacy, numeracy, creativity, and worldliness were four fundamental kinds of dispositions, I guess, that would, or they're both, yeah, whatever. I don't remember how the terms get actually laid out in the final documents. But these are things that we would aspire for. And in literacy, we're rethinking the writing and the writing requirement and the ways in which we do our initial courses in composition and basic critical reading. Numeracy, we have another set of faculty working on a new set of proposals around data science, data analysis, data analytics in general. Creativity, we have an arts initiative on campus, and we're working with different groups to try to come up with ideas for making the arts an integral part of every student's, not just education, but experience while they're here on campus. And so worldliness, well, it's a kind of general term, but it includes within its compass the idea that global studies should be fundamental, because of course we are all living in a world now in which global forces are more important than ever before. So I envision that for sure, whatever we do at the Berkeley Global Campus will help inform the way in which we think about global studies on campus. We, in the first instance, are designing or hope to design a curriculum around global governance, global citizenship, global ethics, global collaboration, global challenges for the master's programs that we might begin there for a group of recent college graduates, both from Berkeley and from around the world. This will be informed by things that go on campus, and I think the development of it, because it will be done in concert with other universities and faculties elsewhere, will help, I think, bring a lot of new ideas that could easily be part of the further development of global studies on campus. As we go ahead and develop the campus, it may well be possible for undergraduates to participate directly in some of the programs, and certainly some of the international opportunities that become available through the campus. We aren't anywhere close to saying anything more about that, because we haven't any specific plans. But the hope will be that this will bring the world to not just California, but to a range of activities that will inform how we think about about our global future. And I think it will help shape not just the future at Berkeley, but I think it will be a kind of laboratory to develop new models for campuses across the United States.
Now, in the more immediate term, in terms of reinvigorating the undergraduate experience, you've stated that you want to develop and build upon Big Ideas courses, the Interdisciplinary Course Threads program, freshman seminars, and Berkeley Connect.
Right.
Out of those 4 programs, which one do you think it is most vital to expand, or which one of those holds the most promise for reinvigorating the undergraduate experience?
Well, the first thing to say is that the committees that have been meeting about this all acknowledge that although I've been convening the meetings, the decisions about curriculum are made by faculty. So So we're engaging the faculty senate, the academic senate, and we're engaging faculty across a lot of different parts of the who play a role in a lot of different parts of the undergraduate curriculum, and to help think through what would be the issues in expanding each of these four kinds of programs and making them, if anything, available to more students and more foundational in relationship to the educational opportunities we offer here for undergraduates. In my view, it's very hard to choose because each of them have been very successful within their own spheres in terms of providing better and more exciting experiences and more coherent experiences for undergraduates. Berkeley Connect. It's about mentoring. It's about figuring out what a major might mean. It's about understanding some of the choices that you have to make very, very early in your educational career as an undergraduate. Freshman seminars. For me, when I went to college, there were a couple of freshman seminars I took that were just foundational for me because they opened up what it meant to think about disciplines. I had no idea what a discipline was when I graduated from high school. But hearing, for example, a professor of psychology who had studied with B.F. Skinner and was a behaviorist argue with a philosopher who had studied with Reinhold Niebuhr and was a philosopher of religion, argue about things having to do with freedom and necessity, whether we actually had free choices as human agents or whether we were determined by our behavioral and biological hardwiring. It both made me understand what a discipline meant and therefore what a major might entail, but also what and how the university functions together as a kind of intellectual community, and we want that to be part of every undergraduate's experience. So I see those as critical. Big ideas courses, to bring some of our finest faculty and put them again into an interdisciplinary kind of classroom, and have a physicist and a musicologist talking about issues together with students. Again, I mean, as they say, priceless. And then figuring out better paths for students to move through both their electives, that is, and their breadth requirements on the one side, but towards a set of either majors or concentrations on the other. Again, is a challenge for a university where we have 25,000 undergraduates, and I'm not even talking about, in some sense as well, the importance of figuring out better ways to integrate the transfer students we have. 28% of our undergraduates are transfers and come in, of course, with very different backgrounds. So I can't prioritize at this point which of these four might, be supported most going forward. My hope would be that some combination of all of them could feature really importantly in any kind of enhanced undergraduate initiative going forward.
But here's my concern in terms of, you left out course threads.
Well, that's what I meant by, the last one when I was talking about course threads was finding better paths through the curriculum.
I see. I guess my issue with that would be, since the program launched in 2011, 2010, only 50 students have, about 50 students have completed one. Exactly. And this isn't something where there's any caps. Students just have to look at a list of courses, choose 3, do a symposium or something of the sort. And so it's not as if there's any, strict barriers to more students participating. And so I guess my concern would be that as we start to promote these new projects that we're moving away from a common academic experience, which seems fairly important to reinvigorating the undergraduate experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, really good question. Because one of the things that's been animating me, and I think a lot of the other people have been part of the committees that have been discussing these issues, is the desire indeed to create a more coherent intellectual community. So, we have expanded some of these programs. Berkeley Connect started in English. It's now in 10 departments. We keep trying to expand the funding for big ideas courses and so on. But you're right. I mean, these are both potentially divergent kinds of emphases, and potentially still very constrained opportunities in terms of the total population of undergraduates. So as we've been thinking about the undergraduate initiative, we've actually been addressing precisely the aspiration to provide some common experiences for all undergraduates. And to build into the first 2 years in particular, a set of courses, a set of opportunities that would be, in a way, more systematically organized, even as they were all customized. So, for example, the kinds of discussions around data science. The idea would be to have some portal courses that would be a limited set of courses that would give basic training in data analytics, the kinds of statistics you need to know in order to think about data sets and what is being done with them, understanding the relationship between the data set itself and any kind of analysis that can be done of it. And then moving into a slightly more, almost a kind of course thread kind of architecture, in which you have a more customized set of courses that would have plugins, effectively connecting methodology with subject matter that would be appropriate to and of interest to particular populations of students who are moving towards different kinds of majors or working in different kinds of colleges and so on in the undergraduate population. So the idea would be to begin with something that would be common, even while acknowledging that students will have very different kinds of interests and ultimately want to use the skills that they can acquire in very different kinds of ways. So the balance there, that's the interesting challenge for us. But we do want to make sure that in all the different things that we're trying to focus on, whether it's the arts, whether it's data science, whether it's critical reading and writing, that there is both a sense of a common intellectual menu or beginning point, and as much choice and as much opportunity for students as possible.